Hi everyone, it is Wednesday, February 15th, 2017, and this is episode 102 of Serenova Crafts. I'm your host, Jessica. I can be found as Serenova on Ravelry and Twitter, and as Serenova Crafts on Instagram. You can find the show notes for today's episode on my blog or in the Ravelry group, if you follow me on Facebook, there's going to be a link there back to the blog, back to the YouTube video. And feel free to ask me questions anywhere, like in Ravelry, on the blog, Facebook, whatever. I have it there so I can talk to you folks and get to know you better. So if you ever have any questions, feel free to ask. I have my notes up on a separate screen today because I've kind of arranged myself in our dining room at our dining table because I kind of forgot I had class today. And so I was actually a little bit late and I logged in from home, so I'm actually recording this on my lunch break from class. So yeah, I'm doing Excel 2013 Part 1 today. Get to stare at spreadsheets all day. I know some people do that for a living, but I'm not used to staring at spreadsheets all day, so that's something a little different for me. Let's see, I do have a faux for you guys this week, a whip, and actually some stash, which actually I forgot to go grab some of the stash. So I will be right back so that I have it to show you. Alright, so you might see the reflection of my second screen in the picture here, but it's just I need to do the January finished object thread drawing, so I have that open, and then I have my notes as well in another window. So I'm just going to get right into it. Last week I actually forgot to do the drawing for the January sorry about that, for the January finished objects thread. So I'm going to do that drawing now. I already opened the randomizer app on my phone. So here it is. And I'm going to do 2, because my post is always the first one. 2, and the total is 24. And then I'm going to hit the randomize button. And the winner is 12. So 12 is, scrolling up to it, 12 is Crazy Knitting Fool. You are the winner, and I'm going to make a note of that. Crazy Knitting Fool. Congratulations on winning. Send me a PM with the pattern you would like, up to $6 US from me to you. Congratulations on winning. So now we did that out of the way. So faux, I do have some finished, a singular finished object this week. And that would be my giant granny gradient Afghan. Now, it's not like Jen finished. If you aren't familiar with Jen, who is the host of the Uncreative Crafter podcast, she's also known as Stormcoast, go check her out. We actually live in the same state, and I consider her a really good friend. But she's got this thing where the ends have to be woven in for her for it to be considered finished. But, so now there's a running joke with, our group of friends, it isn't Jen finished until the ends are woven in. So it's finished, but it's not Jen finished. I'm actually not sure I'll block this, honestly, because it's so big and so heavy, and it's also just flat crochet. So I'm going to tell you what the yarn is. So this is old yarn. Luxuria Knitting Worsted by Bernat. This is there a date on this? Made in USA by Emile Bernat and Sons Company. It's been permanently moth-proofed. Oh yeah, permanently moth-proofed. I don't think there's actually a date on this, but I had 3 colors of it, courtesy of my grandmother. Excuse me, I have something in my eye. Basically, she'd originally bought the yarn. Here it is. It's 3 colors of green, like a light, a medium, and a dark. To make a ripple Afghan back in the 70s, because this yarn is older than I am. I was born in 87, in case you want to know. Yeah, this yarn's at least 10 years older than me. But she never got around to it, and so I ended up making a color affection for my mom with these 3 colors, because my mom wanted a bigger color affection than the fingering weight version would give you. So I'm like, well, why don't I just do the same stitch count and just use a heavier yarn? And since I had plenty of this, and you need 3 colors for the color affection, I actually just used this yarn. I actually have my mom's color affection in my possession because I need to reblock it for her because it kind of got the crap beaten out of it last year. I will actually link my mom's color affection in the show notes so you can see it if you want to go take a look. I'm just making a note to do that for myself. Color affection. There we go. So I will link mom's color affection. So anyways, here is the blanket. It's not quite my arm's width wide, though if I stretch it, it would be. So if like I blocked out, it would be the width of my arms. Now, your arm width on average for a human being is about as tall as your height. So I'm like 5'2", 5'3" on a good day if I stand up straight enough. So this blanket is approximately 5 feet across. Let's just go with this blanket is about 5 feet across. So 3 colors. So basically I started with just your traditional granny square in the center, if I can actually find the center. There it is. Here's the center. So I started in the center with like, you know, just your traditional granny square, and I just kept going out. I didn't stop. I didn't sew anything together. I literally just went with each color until I could not get one more full row, and I stopped, switched to the next color, and kept going. So it was a ton of yarn, and the final verdict is I used basically all of the yarn I had left, except for a few little balls where I couldn't get that full row, and the total was 1,611 yards of worsted weight. Green yarn. But yeah, like I said, I'm probably not going to block this because it already lays flat, and this is just going to be like a couch blanket. So unless it ever like needs to get washed because of cat fur or something gets spilled on it, I'm just going to forego blocking because really it doesn't need it. And if I can get away with not blocking something this big and this much wool, because this would weigh a lot if it got wet, this would be a lot. And it would take a long time to dry, even though it's the winter here in New Hampshire. So there you go. I have a faux for you. Always good to have a finished object. But yeah, the Luxuria Bernat, I did inherit most of my grandmother's yarn stash. Some of it was simply unsalvageable because it had been in storage for so long. And by so long, I mean she basically stopped knitting when I was a small child. So this is like the early 90s because her arthritis got too bad. She was the one who originally taught me how to knit, but I put it down for many years, and in the interim, she stopped knitting. I was probably 6 or 7 years old when she stopped due to her arthritis, and most of her yarn she'd had for many years before that. So when I inherited her stash, some of it was just hadn't been stored properly, and we just had to throw some of it out. Like, there was this really nice, like, mint green mohair yarn, but when I picked up the ball, it just disintegrated in my hands. And so, you know, we had to get rid of, it was a 10-ball bag of this stuff. Like, she was going to make a sweater out of it, and we just had to get rid of the whole bag, because it had literally been sitting in plastic since the 70s. And FYI, mohair does not react well to sitting in plastic for 30-plus years. Just saying. So, yeah. Some of it, but like a lot of just the solid wool is still good, still sound. A lot of that was actually stored in one of her cedar chests, because she has multiple cedar chests, with plenty of mothballs. So, also, it's permanently moth-proof yarn. I'm not sure what chemical bath they gave this stuff, but it says permanently moth-proofed, and it's still in perfectly good shape after being in storage since the 70s, so let's just go with, they did something to it. So anyways, so for whips, my single whip, which I am dastardly close to being done. I actually hoped I could get it done before I recorded today, but because I have class, I couldn't get it done, is my mom's Daybreak. So as you can tell, it's grown so much that it's stuck on the needle, right? So I only did 16 stripes, because if I did more stripes, I wouldn't have enough yarn for the third section down here. So I actually have 3 rows left of this single section here where you do the ridges. You do the ridges. I have 3 rows left, and then the bind off. And the bind off is going to take me a very long time because I'm going to do the same bind off for my mom's that I did for mine, which means I saved 1 full ball of the first color, which, by the way, this is Knit Picks Wool with the Andes Worsted. This one is Claret Heather, and then the lighter one is Haze Heather, are the 2 colors. I'm going to do an I-cord bind off, so I saved 1 ball of the darker color so that I could do the I-cord the whole way on the bottom, and I'm probably going to use this whole ball. So, but my mom's Daybreak is almost done. It might actually be done by the end of today, so it might be a faux next week for you guys. And I'm going to have to weave in the ends on this and on mine and get them blocked within the next week and a half, because spa is the 24th. So, yeah, I need to get them bound off, ends woven in, and blocked, and dry by the time we leave that Friday morning. Because I don't want to have to do wet stuff, like, in the car. Just, no. So they need to be blocked with ends woven in and done by basically the end of next Thursday. Speaking of Thursdays, this is a bit of a sidetrack, but I have in the past been hosting a virtual knit night on Thursday nights. That is going to be on hold indefinitely. I might pick another night to try and host a VKN on. Problem is, I don't want to step on any toes. The Two Tangled Skeins, who is Lynn and Sue and Selma, who I am friends with them, they do a Tuesday night. I think Monday nights might still be free, but I close on Monday nights now. So because of my work schedule, I'm now going to be doing closed shifts on Thursday nights, and I'm simply not going to be able to host at 7:30 p.m. because I'm going to be at work. So I might try to find another night. Maybe I'll host one like late on Friday night because I get home from my knit group at like 8:30 because I go to a local yarn shop on Friday nights. Maybe Wednesdays. And we normally have our D&D group because my boyfriend and I do D&D on Tuesday. So finding another night of the week is slightly awkward. But for now, it's on hold indefinitely until I make a decision. When I do make a decision, I will post the notice to the VKN thread in my group on Ravelry. Because I do have a thread there that says like the times where I post the link and everything. And I do normally post the link to Facebook as well because our friend Enid doesn't have Ravelry. Hi Enid, thank you for watching. And so I normally post to Facebook as well, so I'll probably post a notice in my Facebook group as well. And by the way, if you're watching on YouTube, links are down below for everything. So, yeah, need to get this done, and VK ends on hold indefinitely until I figure out another night. So, stash, because I had to run and do a cut in the video so that I could go get stash. At the end of last year, I signed up for the Yarn Over and Back Again club through Erin Lane Bags, and it is a she's teaming up with Holiday Yarns. So I'm just going to read you the page. Erin Lane Bags is proud to be teaming up with Holiday Yarns to bring you a special year-long knitting trip through another beloved and cherished story. So this year, embark on an epic journey across a dangerous, beautiful, and tempting land called Middle Earth. Stroll the hills of the Shire on your way to the peaceful waterfalls of Rivendell, visit the dwarves of the Lonely Mountain, Erebor, and feel the solid ground underfoot. Then away and off to the gleaming city of Minas Tirith, before visiting the haunting and treacherous woods of Fangorn Forest. Finally, turn your gaze to the east and behold the wonder and tremor of Mordor, the realm of Sauron and his ringwraiths. So it's a 6-installment club, so it's the full year, but it's every other month for the year. And the first installment came in the mail yesterday. It was slightly delayed due to storms and weather and just, we've had so much crap going on in this region of the country that I'm not surprised I didn't get the mail until yesterday. So it was supposed to come in January, but it's now February. So I'm just going to show you what we got. It was a cowl pattern was included, and also a little cute thing like about hobbit holes, you know, and so here's the bag from Erin Lane. It's got the Dwarven runes on it, and it is lined with just a nice, like, cream fabric. And it's a nice size, so it could be a sock or a shawl bag or something, and I quite like it. It's very nice. And then, because it was a cowl pattern that we got, a button was also included for the cowl. It's a nice wooden button. It's also included. And then the yarn. So this is a color exclusive from Holiday Yarns for this club. And if you haven't gotten it yet and you don't want to spell on the yarn color, look away now. Here it is. So the colorway is called Shire, and it is on her Super Sheep DK, which is 260 yards of 100% merino. Okay, yarn is gone. You can look back now. So I'm super excited. I'm actually resisting casting on the project because, yeah, I need to finish this. And then also, lastly, this past Friday at my local shop, I did pick up some yarn. I had gotten a gift card for the holidays, and I finally decided what I was going to spend it on. So I got 2 skeins of Mad Tosh Twist Light, if I can get the hair off of there, in the antique lace colorway. and this is going to become a shawl. I don't know what shawl yet, but I did buy 2 skeins with the idea of doing a shawl. Now, I'm not sure if it's going to be a lace shawl. Hi, Cookie. The cat came and said hi. A lace shawl or a like a textured shawl, because it's a very subtle variegation in the yarn. It's more tonal than anything. So I could do a textured shawl, a textured pattern of some kind. I have a few ideas, but I'm just trying to make up my mind as to what that is. So I think that's about it. If you've enjoyed, please like, subscribe, comment. Feel free to join the Ravelry group if you're on Ravelry, and just come say hi if you ever have any questions for me. I do have an Ask Me Anything thread in my Ravelry group. You can also message me on Facebook or leave a comment on the WordPress blog, or however. I am totally willing, happy, and open to talk to you and answer your questions. So I think that's just about it. So I hope you all have a good week, and I will definitely see you next week before I go to spa. So have a good one, and I will see you then. Bye!